The category is Live. Let's talk about Pose, y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is Pose Season 2, Episode 1, and the name of this episode is Acting Up. I am a huge fan of this show. I am so happy that it's premiering in Pride Month. You know, I am so excited that Pose is back. It had a phenomenal Season 1, and Season 2, from what I've seen, is going to be epic. And, you know, shout out to everyone that's involved in this show. And let me send a personal shout out to Billy Porter. Billy Porter has literally become an icon due to this show. I mean, we saw where he wore that tuxedo dress at the Academy Awards, of how he literally shocked the children at the Met Gala with his entrance. And the thing about it, he's always been an icon, but now he's getting the mainstream credibility that he deserves. I mean, let's be real. I mean, Billy Porter is what made Kinky Boots famous. Won a Tony Award for that role. So, and Billy Porter is a phenomenal singer too. So, the man is just a talent up and down. You know, and, you know, so shout out to him, shout out to the cast and crew, you know, Ryan Murphy, Janet Mock, everyone that's involved, because I am a huge fan of this show. And episode 1 did not disappoint at all. So, the beginning of the episode, we see that Pretel and Blanc are heading to this island. And it's an island where people who die and they don't have friends or family to claim them, they bury them in this island, which is kind of like, you know, a slew of graves that are unmarked and uncared for. And it's now 1990, and I remember in 1990 I was like 7 years old at the time, and I can definitely remember, you know, 1990 definitely being, you know, a year that was somewhat revolutionary in music, television, and all of that. I mean, the 90s definitely was a time to remember. Even as a 7-year-old kid, I remember all of this. But they're heading to this island, you know, on the pretty much on the account of a person who died, and we come to find out the person that died is Keenan. We remember this is the guy that Pretel started dating 3 years ago in the season finale. Remember, he went on a date at the restaurant where Electra was working as a hostess. And my heart dropped because I really liked Keenan. He was a nice guy. But then pretty much he died of AIDS, you know. And he said that, you know, we dated for a previous time, but then we broke up. And the receptionist that was working at the office, she was so ignorant and so rude. I wanted to punch her in her face. She really was just nasty. She just had a very nasty attitude, and she was like, well, this is where we go where where people, if nobody claims them, we just bury them here. You know, you got infants over here, and then we got the AIDS patients over there, but we don't go near them. And Blanca was like, what the hell you mean? They're dead. And she's like, we don't know how this disease is spread. Well, won't you read some fucking pamphlets and get knowledgeable, you stupid bitch. Oh, she made me mad. Just as nasty and had this real. I'm like, I do not like people like that. Like, she just really burnt my nerves, and Pretel looked like he wanted to slap the shit out of her, and I didn't blame him. Because this is human lives here, and you pretty much treating them like they're less than human. Like, what makes your old trifling, big-headed ass so great? But they actually, him and Blanca go back and forth, and they talk, and we come to find out that Keenan had died in his home, and he went unnoticed for 3 weeks. and he was pretty much an orphan like everyone else. Probably his family rejected him for being gay, and he didn't have anybody but friends. And here it is, he died in his home, and he wasn't found until 3 weeks later, and he was in there for so long that his body literally melted into the mattress. And and Pretel is just so overwhelmed with emotion, because this is like another person he saw die of AIDS, because we saw what happened on the last episode when his lover, he literally saw his lover die, and both him and Blanca have HIV. So it's like, here it is, you're seeing so many people drop like flies and nobody gives a shit, and this is just really tearing Pretel apart. But it's cool that him and Blanca have this great love and respect for each other, and that they got each other's backs. And he actually said that Judy has said that this island used to be a tuberculosis ward, but then they now turned it into a burial site. And then he says what really pains him is that Keenan died alone. I tried to reach out to him, but he didn't want to reach out to me because he probably felt ashamed that he had the virus. Because he said that, yeah, even though we broke up, I still cared for him. So, but then, while they're, they pretty much have like this little rocks and like stones where people can write memoriams to the people who were buried that no one claimed their bodies. And they did one for Keenan, and it was just so sad that, Keenan died alone. And he was such a nice guy. He really had his eye on Pretel, and he was just so fine. Keenan was cute. And it's just sad that, Keenan, died due to the HIV and AIDS epidemic, and he died in such a very lonely and sad way. But within that whole thing, Pretel is like, we got to do something, because it's like enough is enough. People are dying like it's kind of like the Dark Ages. People are dying, and it's like the government and majority of America doesn't give a shit. So then we get a scene with Blanca. She's pretty much at a medical facility, and she meets up with Judy. Judy is played by Sandra Bernhardt. We remember her from season 1. Her and Pretel, they are they are awesome together, because just as Pretel can throw it, Judy can throw it too, and she's a white woman who's a lesbian, and she don't hold no cards either. But we can definitely see that this is 3 years later, so the facilities have gotten a lot better, because we saw how atrocious and nasty those facilities were back in 87. 1990, you can definitely tell there's been an improvement. But they go over, Blanca's medical records. Her T cells have fallen below 200. And what happens, and because of that, she wants her to come in once a month instead of once every 3 months. And because of the fact that her T cells are so low, her diagnosis is now going from HIV to full-blown AIDS. And pretty much, she offers her this medication, AZT, which is slow progression. And she's like, well, like, ain't that what the rich people got? She's like, well, the thing is, we, have worked out a system where, people who are less fortunate can now get these drugs for free. Because what we do is that all the wealthy people and, people that we know, we go there, we see the patients, they pass on, we say our goodbyes, we give our condolences, and then we take the leftover medication. Some are antibiotics, but most of them all have AZT. And but Blanca's like, well, I'm doing fine. Shoot, all of my kids got sick and I ain't even get a sniffle. Like, what the hell you mean I'm not feeling well? I don't feel bad. But she lets her know that, look, you are in denial of your status, and if you don't get a hold on this, you can be dead in 6 months without treatment. So, and she was like, well, have you ever seen your life flash before your eyes? But the funny thing about it, I'm not even thinking about my life. I'm thinking about my children. There's so much I need to teach them and so much I want to guide them to. And I don't want to leave without them being okay. And I'm like, wow, the power of a true mother. You care more about the lives of your children than yourself. And pretty much, she said that, look, you need to do this so you can prolong it, and we need to keep you alive until we find something better. So yeah, our mission is to keep you alive until a better solution is available. And she says that, look, you got some people who are you either get busy living or you get busy dying, and you got a lot to live for, so let's live. And it was a very touching moment, and I was so here for that. Then we see Poppy and Angel at the house. Poppy is taking all of these photos of her, these Polaroids, and we see that Blanca is smiling, but then her wheels are turning because she's seeing how beautiful Angel is, and she's like, she got a plan for her. And then next thing you know, they end up playing the song that changed the game, and I am talking about none other than Madonna's Vogue, which came out in 1990, and it literally took the house, it literally took the underground ballroom to the mainstream. It went from the ballrooms to MTV. So even at this time, Blanca is seeing this as the cusp of a revolution, that now we're being seen by mainstream, and now things are going to change for us because what we have, we can now be a part of, we can now be a part of mainstream society, and now we can actually break more doors down. So she's seeing this as something that's awesome. And we see that she's talking about it while she's working at the salon. Then we see her talking about this with Lulu and Candy and Electra at the ball. And then they said that now we're being seen mainstream because the song Vogue is still playing. And and she's like, how many years we've been underground? And then Electra was like, 20 years. Even 20 years, even back when Crystal LaBeija, when after she kept losing pageant after pageant because they kept choosing some bony white girl to win instead of expressing us, and she started a movement, with the balls in the houses where blacks as well as Hispanics and people of color can be recognized and be showcased for their talents. Whereas as far as the mainstream white gay community, they weren't even being let in the door, let alone weren't actually winning, the fact that they weren't winning, truthfully, because if y'all saw Crystal LaBeijah's read, she read the fuck down. And I agreed with her 100% because I saw the girl that they chose. She was the best looking bitch on that stage, and they literally robbed her. And she got tired of being robbed. She got tired of being sidelined and sidestepped, and created a movement. So Vogue, all of this, Paris is Burning, none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for Crystal LaBeija taking her stand. So she is a legend, and she gets definitely a gold star in my book. She is one of our legends. So definitely do your gay herstory, because Crystal LaBeija is a force that created it all. The House of LaBeija is the oldest house as far as all of the houses, in the ballroom. So Crystal let the spark, and Madonna took it to mainstream America. So, and we see that Crystal, and we see that the category is runway, and um, we actually see that Angel walks in the category. Angel wins, and but then again, even though Angel definitely is doing big things in the balls, she's still on the piers trying to hustle. So all of a sudden we see that this cab pulls up. Angel goes to the cab thing and she about to talk to John. She's like, "Hey baby," and she says, "What the hell are you doing here?" And all of a sudden it's Blanca. She's like, "What the hell you doing here? I thought we agreed that you was not going to do the piers again. Look, there are other options out there." And she's like, "What? Mopping and busting tables? Oh no, I'd rather be my own boss." She was like, "I got a plan. Get your ass in the car." So while they're in the car, she says, "I was reading Elle and I saw this modeling contest. You got the look." And then she pulled out the Polaroids that Poppy had took of her. She was saying, "Look, you got this. Madonna in Vogue, this is our ticket to acceptance, and you need to grab your opportunity." So I was like, check her out. I'm so here for it. So then we get a scene. It's another funeral, and it's for a young boy named Joe. Joe looked like he about maybe 18 or 19, who also died of, HIV and AIDS. And Lulu and Candy, the House of Veracity, these trifling, disrespectful bitches are up in there reading and talking shit at a funeral. Just as heartless as you can be. It's like, who picked out these tacky ass flowers? Oh, why the hell did they spend all this money when you're dead? I'm like, bitch, give me my roses while I'm here. And shit. And make sure that my name is known before you put me in a box. Don't be crying over me when you never cried over me when I was here. Just saying all this crazy shit. And then Pretel is sitting behind them and listening to these disrespectful ass bitches going back and forth talking shit. And I'm just like, they literally have no boundaries to the disrespect. Like, you can definitely tell Elektra literally gave birth to those bitches, because they are just as mean and spiteful as her. But the difference is, Elektra does have a heart at times. There's no heart with damn Lulu and damn Candy. They are just as nasty, and it's just as mean, and just as, and it's just as nasty as they want to be. And Pretel just had enough, and he was like, "You hard-hearted assholes, show some damn respect." And then we see that Judy finally comes and joins Pretel. This is Judy's 452 as far as the funerals they've been to of people who died from HIV and AIDS. Pretel is 210, and Judy was like, "Okay, whoever gets to 1,000 first gets a free toaster." And they go and they pay the respects to young Joe, and and she was like, "Wow, he's so young. He's a baby." And she's like, "Yeah, but you got 790 more to go so you can get that free toaster, bitch." And then he was like, "You want to go to a bar and get a drink?" She's like, "Nah, I got somewhere to be, and you coming with me." So they about to go to this rally, and Dan Pretel was like, "Oh, hell nah. I am not joining your petty, I'm not joining your weak ass white queens with they pretty white caps who ain't never had a fight, who never had to fight for a damn thing in their lives." And she was like, and as I said, just like Pretel can throw it, Miss Judy throws it back. They like the perfect duo. And she was like, "First of all, there are dykes that are running these meetings, and they are of all shades. You need to use the pain for good use, or it will eat your ass alive. Now get your ass in here." And it's a movement called ACT UP. ACT UP, fight back, fight AIDS. And then they get introduced to Judy actually introduces Pretel to one of her friends, Miss Wanda, and she was like, "Oh, Miss Wanda, I didn't know you was real." She was like, "Well, I'm really busy, and I'm not the going out type." She actually thought the Pretel was a woman. I was like, "Bitch!" But then, like, the speaker, pretty much, took the podium. They have raised over $650,000, and that they're gonna plan a demonstration at St. Patrick's because the cardinal there has been saying that condoms don't work and abstinence is key, which is not in reality because not everybody is abstinent unless you are in the church. As far as the Catholic religion, that is. And then, and she's saying that, they keep condemning HIV like it's a disease, like it's God's plan. And they're spreading this venom through our communities, through the church. And the worst thing, he has a connection to the Pope himself, and then he pretty much says that, morality is good medicine. Like, it's kind of like saying that, yeah, people are supposed to die from AIDS. Like, it's okay. And she's saying we're not going to let this racist, sexist, homophobic ideology to affect our communities any longer. It's time to act and to stand up. So then we see that Blanca, along with Poppy and Angel, go to the contest to put Angel in. It's kind of like the same thing she did with Damon in season 1 when she got him into the new dance school. It was kind of the same thing. Now it's Angel's time to shine, and she pretty much tells her, just be yourself. So we literally see her walking down the stairs, and it literally made me smile from ear to ear, and it kind of made me tear up a little bit because it's like we're seeing Angel walk into a new world. She's no longer working the piers. She's now going to be the cover of magazines and walk runways. And we see that she's in this extravagant place. And she actually talks to one of the head women there. And she pretty much she checks out our picture, and she was like, well, the thing is, honey, you need to get, better photos than this. And she was like, well, I don't have no money. She's like, well, models got to pay their dues before they start making the money, honey. And she says that, look, here's a photographer. Let him know I sent you, and, he'll give you a discount, and I'll see you for the semifinals. So she's already a main candidate, and she comes out and lets, Blanca and Poppy know that she made it to the next round, and they're happy. So we see the house of Evangelista, they up in there cooking and everything, and they're saying that, make sure you put oregano. And then Damon's like, yeah, we gotta have our vegetables. And then Pretella's like, first of all, oregano is a herb, not a vegetable. Girl, what are you telling these damn kids? And then he says, and besides, what you gonna do when your man come back? And he was like, well, sir, Ricky should be home next week from the Albee Shore tour. So he's been on the tour for 3 years, and he's gonna be coming back soon. The question is, what kind of Ricky is he gonna be when he comes back? We just gotta keep watching to see, because from the previews, it looks like things gonna get real rocky between Damon and Ricky, and I kind of called this out last season. But they talk about, they're on a cusp of, they pretty much have dinner. They talk about being on the cusp of a revolution. Our culture's going mainstream. And then Pretel was like, yeah, kind of like how YMCA hit the airwaves, and Castro in San Francisco, it just exploded, with the introduction of the Village People in YMCA. And then he's saying, but this can actually change the culture, and this is a revolution. And Pretel was like, yeah, and they said the same thing about disco. Studio 54 stayed open for 3 years, and afterwards, after it got shut down, you had angry black and gay hating white boys who blew up disco records at a baseball stadium. Hashtag disco sucks. Yeah. You know, and the thing about it, see, we think that because of this, and because of the fact that now the things we're doing is now making mainstream, we're going to be invited to the party. But in most cases, we're never invited to the party. And then, like, Poppy was like, man, like, we, like, you know, why you gotta be such a Debbie Downer? You know, there's a good thing going on here. But Pretel was like, look, I'm just giving you the reality of what it is. And then, like, you know, Angel's about to tell her news, but then Poppy finished it like, she's a finalist. She's in the semifinals. And then pretty much Blanca says that Damon's going to start doing vocal classes at the YMCA. And instead of him spending his Saturdays looking at porn magazines. I'm like, yeah, because he ain't got Ricky tearing him up like he was beforehand. So, and then they pretty much says that, look, you know, if anything, the revolution begins because we have this church protest on Sunday, and we as a house need to be there. Then we see Miss Electra walk in. Electra now got a fur, and she's literally back to her old celluloid self. Like, literally all about her. You know, she come up in there talking her shit. She has this mink, and she's like, so, you know, you still working at that restaurant? Where you mop that coat? She's like, boo-boo, I don't mop. And they was like, yeah, you don't mop, you don't dust, you don't wash, nor do you clean. But then Blanca's like, yes, she don't do that, but she is helping me with the bills. And pretty much she says that, look, we have to stand up for our community. You know, if we can be down at the balls, we can be at that church on Sunday and actually stand up for our community and for our rights and for our people. You know, and of course, you know, Electra's like, excuse me? And it's like, yeah, honey, it's about time you start giving back. We all need to give back to make our communities more safe, and we need to draw attention that they need to stop killing our people. And then, you know, she did this kind of number like, I guess. But it's really going to get crazy, and I'm about to get to it. So we see that Blanca is at her job at the nail salon. Her boss wanted her to work the weekend, but she said she couldn't do it because she actually has an obligation to her friends. She says that, well, I need you to work, so you should do it. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, I can't. Give it to somebody else because I'm not going to be able to be here. And she says, you know, she's like, you know, you're so ungrateful. As a Christian, I gave you an opportunity. And she says, yes, and I'm very grateful for that, but I can't be here, so you need to find somebody else because I'm not going to be here this weekend. Then she says, then quit then. Because you should be kissing my feet. I even gave you an opportunity. Because after all, ladies like their nails done by ladies. I look like, and you call yourself a Christian, you evil trolley ass bitch? Are you serious? After that woman that worked for your ass for years, and this is how you disrespect her because she doesn't want to work? First of all, when you do an overtime, it's up to that person whether they want to take it or not. This bitch took it upon herself that, oh, because you don't want to do what I want, oh, well, won't you quit then? And she pretty much took her shit and she said, I quit. Fuck this shit. You know, I am not going to lose my dignity or my self-respect on the account of you. And she says, oh, and then she pretty much tells her that, look, I'll start my own salon. I'll call it Vogue Nails in celebration of Madonna. And then once I become successful, I'll be back at this dump to buy this shit from you. I was like, that's how you do it, Blanca. That's how you do it. She decided that she wasn't going to be a whore, you know, to this job, and that she said that, no, since I'm being disrespected and I'm not being treated fairly, I'm going to start my own thing. and I'm gonna grow, and I'm gonna get me some clients. So I was just like, that was remarkable for Blanca, but then again, it's a setback because now she doesn't have that steady income anymore. So the question is, what's going to be Blanca's next move? But I'm glad she did what she did, because that is revolution, and that is entrepreneurial, when you can walk away from a bad situation and say that I'm going to go through the peaks and the valleys and the trials and the tribulations until I get somewhere better and somewhere where I'm on a higher level. So I was here for that. So then we see that they do the demonstration at the church, where they all lay down, and then you had people during the church service, because the father was trying to do the Lord's Prayer, and you had people yelling, "Stop killing us! Stop killing us! Stop killing us!" And then the police pretty much came in as a raid and arrested everybody that was laying down and was taking people on stretchers and all of that. And all of the house was there except for Elektra. So then we see that Angel meets up with this photographer, and he pretty much knows Angel from the peers, and she was like, "Look, I don't do that." And she was saying that, "Look, I already know that these photos ain't for free, so what do you want me to do?" He says, "I have some private photos that I want to take of you from my private collection." So we see that Angel is doing all of these different silhouettes, and Angel is working it. She is a natural beauty. She's gorgeous. And then when it came down to the last shoot, he tells her to take off her dress. And she takes off her dress, and we see that she's uncomfortable. And it was very reminiscent of the movie Fame, with when Iron Cara went to that go-see with that director, and he makes her take off her dress and put her thumb in her mouth like a schoolgirl. That pornographic exploitation type shit. This sick bastard did that to her, and she literally felt small, because she's like covering herself up. And then he says that, "Take the panties off too." So she takes off her underwear, and then he says that, "Touch it." And I was just like, oh, you evil motherfucker. I mean, you might as well would have took her to the damn pier, because you made her feel just as dirty as if she was at the pier. And we just see that really bothered her spirit, and it hurt me to see her go through that. But that's the tragedy of the business, that you got, snakes out there like that. So, it was just painful to see Angel be violated like that. So then we get the category at the ball. The category is Runway French Revolution, Poverty and Abundance. Lulu and Candy come up there, and he says, "Oh my God, no, they ain't serving Les Mis, these peasant sluts with the French baguette and the pitchfork." And damn Candy start throwing the French bread at Preytel and at the judges because they read them wrong. And she's like, "House of Veracity ain't so ferocious, ain't so ferocious." I was like, bitch, he got them together like shit. And then we had Miss Elektra, as Marie Antoinette, and he was reading her ass too, like, she coming up in here, Marie Antoinette. The queen that didn't give a damn about her kingdom. Look at her, letting them eat cake. And then they even brought the guillotine, where, because, Marie Antoinette was beheaded, and they kind of did that, and all of a sudden Preytel was like, "Huh, how long did you rehearse for that?" Obviously, it was more important than standing up for your dying community. And she's like, "Preytel, don't come for me like that. Give us our scores." She's like, "Oh, the scores were like the scores are the same. You got the same scores this week like you did last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that, Granny." I was like, damn! And then he was like, "Oh, and you want your trophy? Okay." He goes and gets the grand prize trophy and throws the shit down and breaks it. And he was like, and she was like, bitch, you gonna give me another trophy so I can shove it up your ass. And he was like, I'm gonna lay this on you one time. Your community needed you. Bitch, you worked the night shift. The damn protest was in the damn morning. I don't want to hear no bullshit. You ain't got nothing to say. Your ass should have fucking been there. And then she's like, oh, so what I was supposed to be? Just another one of you fags yelling to the wind? And he says, I went to jail. 111 people went to jail, and you care more about winning a goddamn trophy than your own government spreading lies to kill us. You know, and why they're killing us? Because we're black, brown, and queer. So you need to straighten up and learn how to give a shit. Show up and wake up. And literally, it was so silent in that damn ballroom, you can hear a damn pin drop. He got Elektra the fuck together. And then he would say, Jack, come here and read the rest of these categories. I gotta go home before my hair blows off. And walked by her and was like, wake the fuck up. And walked away. I was like, damn. He humiliated the shit out of her ass. And Elektra deserved it because you were a part of that house, and it was a house decision that you should have been there. But Elektra is back to her old self. Selfish, narcissistic, inconsiderate, and it's like her celluloid self. Literally. So then we see that Jack is at the helm. He continues the category. The category is runway. And then they played my song. Yo, shout out to my best friend, Kenneth Tukes of the K2 Spot. We were just talking about this song the other day. By Soul La Soul. Back to life. Back to reality. I was like, yes, I was getting my life with that. I was like, we were just talking about that song the other day, so I was gagged. And all of a sudden we see that this, the first model who kind of was giving Grace Jones realness, he was pretty much, oh no, you not coming up in here trying to serve Grace Jones in that garbage bag. Hefty. I was like, oh shit. He was just as shady as Pretel, but Pretel ain't nobody can do them categories like Pretel though, but he was doing his thing. And then Angel came in looking gorgeous, working it. She got 10s across the board, and he was saying that yes, this is model, this is fashion, this is runway, this is cover girl. And we see it does something to Angel, and Angel, after winning that trophy, goes off crying her eyes out. Poppy and Blanca find her, and she goes to Poppy's like, what's going on, mama? Won't you talk to me? She says, I need to tell you something, but you gotta promise you won't get mad. And she said that the photographer that I went to, I didn't have no money, so he took dirty photos of me, and he was like, it's probably gonna end up in some porn magazine or something. It was like he recognized me from the peers, and he literally violated me. And just like I could be on the rise, he could easily use this to tear me down or to hold me hostage. Poppy was heated, and so was Blanca. Blanca was like, not on my watch. Ain't nobody gonna hurt my child. And Poppy was like, ain't nobody gonna hurt you, Ma. Where his address? Next thing you know, we see Poppy beating the living shit out of the photographer. They ransacked the place, got her photos, and got all the photos, her good ones as well as the bad ones. And pretty much, damn, Blanca was like, you ever try to exploit my daughter again, I'm gonna come back with more than my son's fist for your ass. And he's like, yeah, you hear that, you punk ass bitch? Boom! I was like, all right, Poppy! Yes! Poppy whooped ass. Like, that's his girl. And I really do see that there's some chemistry developing between Poppy and Angel. And I really want to see that through because I think they would really be good for each other. And I was like, wow, that was everything. So Angel goes back to the same woman who sent her to see that photographer, came in there with the new shots, and she looked and was like absolutely beautiful, and she became a finalist. We see that that Blanca's scrubbing the floors, because Blanca now got a lot of time on her hands now that she lost her job. But something tell me that bitch gonna end up calling her back because Blanca was one of the top girls up in that salon. And that's the reason why that bitch was mad that she didn't want to work that day, because she wanted the best workers there, but because she was smelling her ass, she wanted to show off and embarrass her ass, and Blanca wasn't gonna back down, which is what I love about Blanca. She stands on principle. But then she was saying that, wow, here it is. I had a good job or whatever, but the thing is, I said I was gonna start my own thing, but man. Immortality, and she talks about her T cells being low, and she says, well, what does that mean? Angel, because Angel snuck up on her ass. She was like, girl, ain't no damn dirt on that floor. Like, girl, since you lost your job, you just been cleaning and cleaning like crazy. But her and Angel have a moment because you see her scrubbing, and she kind of calms her down. And she touches her face, and then she tells her, I'm now a finalist. And she made the top 10. So that was a moment. And they celebrate and everything. And, of course, Pretel is there. He's happy. He's like, yes, honey. Next thing, first New York, then Paris, and then Milan. Like, you going places. And she says, so, cheers to Angel and cheers to Blanca. You made this possible. And next thing you know, we see that Elektra shows up in her feelings, being all kind of disrespectful, showing her ass. And she says that, like Elektra, you know the rules. You know that every Friday we meet at 8 p.m. sharp, and you didn't even help to set the table this week. And she was like, how hard could it be to set paper plates? Are you serious? And she's like, girl, why you always gotta be so nasty? Why can't you just be nice to say, I'm sorry, or I'm late, or I made a mistake? And she says that, first of all, if you want to talk about that, we need to talk about how Pretel disrespected me at the ball last week. And he says, bitch, I didn't disrespect you. I just called your black selfish ass out, and it was long overdue. And then she says that, first of all, and she says that, yeah, and you haven't even paid your share of the rent. And she's like, well, what about these bottom feeders? They ain't paying no rent. She says they don't have no money, Elektra. Like, but what is it that you doing, girl? You walking in here with these furs and fineries and showing off. Where are you getting all this extra money from, Queen of the Nile? And then again, that evil bitch of Elektra came back, and it's like she rose from the ashes, from the Grateful Dead, and was like, I don't owe you an explanation. Just because I was down doesn't mean I'm gonna stay down. I am not a slum rat like the rest of you whores. I don't owe you any answers. I don't owe you any manners, and I don't owe you a goddamn apology. And especially over a 99-cent meal, canned meat, and prison-grade toilet wine, and flips the damn table. And she says, and Blanca's like, you know what? She's like, you ain't gotta say it. I quit, bitch. So fuck you, and you better not show your ass at the ball, because I will eat your ass on the dance floor easily. And we next go see that damn bitch Elektra joins the House of Veracity, with fucking, Lulu and damn Candy, and I'm like, oh, Elektra, you evil whore. And she's like, I'm joining your house. You're welcome, bitches. I'm like, oh, she is about to get into some shit, and when that shit happens, who you think she gonna run to? Okay. So then we see that the category is Vogue. And let me send a shout out to Jose Gutierrez Extravaganza. He was in the original video of Vogue with Madonna. He was even in her Go Out and Vote video, and he's also was in the Justify My Love video, I think. Like, he's, was definitely in the Vogue video, and here they were doing Vogue, and we see that Damon is out there voguing, and like Jose is in the middle still serving it after all these years, and he still looks good. I was like, you better go, Jose, with your fine ass. Jose Gutierrez Extravaganza. I was like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh shit, that's the dude from the video. Wow, I got my life. And pretty much they were killing it, and pretty much, Blanca was telling her children, this is the beginning. Beginning of a new world, a new revolution, a new era. And then pretty much they ended the episode with silence equals death. Act up. And I was like, that's real, because even that stands true even in our society today. With what's going on with these trans girls who are being murdered, and with all of the issues that we're dealing with still in the LGBTQ community. The fight still continues. The marathon continues. So, yeah, because we've come so far, but we got so far to go. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'm so happy this show is back. I know this is a long review, but trust me, I got my life, so I wasn't going to miss shit. But get your life with me. Get down in those comments and let me know your thoughts. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on my social platforms. I have them listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of Pose. So until next time, everybody, take care.